Okay.
You're good. We're rolling.
It's going? All right. Who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, so my name's Jack. I am the CEO and founder of Dripos. We are a software for coffee shops.
Yeah.
So we basically build tools to manage the whole business. Yeah.
Yeah. How long have you been involved in coffee?
It's been close to almost 10 years now. When I was a student in college, I was working at a coffee shop. It's kind of how I got my way into the space a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we've been building coffee shop software now for the last 8 years. So yeah, Dripos has been around for a while now.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess next question, how did Dripos get started?
Yeah, it's actually started as a little bit of a different tool than what we do today.
Yeah.
Kind of the first idea for our product was more of just a mobile ordering marketplace for local coffee.
Yeah.
So trying to do some of the same things that maybe like the Starbucks app does for local coffee shops instead. And so we launched that. We had a bunch of shops on, customers were ordering. The tool was much more focused on kind of consumers of coffee shops and not as much focused on kind of the owners and what they need. And so when I started meeting more and more coffee shop owners, I kind of started hearing the same story over and over again of, we're using so many pieces of software to run our business.
Yeah.
Oftentimes it's like a POS plus another 5 to sometimes 10 tools.
Yeah.
And I kept hearing this. And so I actually sat down a bunch of owners back in maybe 2019 or 2018.
Yeah.
And I video interviewed them and asked like really basic questions like, what are you using to run the business? And I have a 5-minute cut of those interviews that I still show to every employee that we hire.
Yeah.
Because I think it's really cool to hear like the original problems from our first customers.
Yeah.
And so we got that feedback. We heard that story so much and we decided we were going to make a switch from being this mobile ordering tool to becoming a kind of all-in-one system that replaces everything.
Yeah.
That's obviously a really big
undertaking
going from like small mobile ordering platform to 10 companies worth of software.
Yeah.
And so we basically kind of took a unique approach of, we spent our first 2 years of that transition working with just 10 customers to try and build everything before we even marketed it ourselves as like a real company. Because we felt like we wanted to really get the product right before kind of launching.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then my next question, you talked about the tools. How many tools does the average coffee shop use, and what does it actually cost them?
Yeah. So it can really vary because I feel like, there's so many different tools available in like the broader restaurant tech landscape. But oftentimes what we see is someone using a POS, maybe using a different app for employee scheduling, and then another app for payroll.
Yeah.
That creates some problems with getting tips, split up amongst employees and payroll.
Because then everything talks to each other, or they don't, and then you have to manually
Exactly.
put data over.
Yep. So we see those three. We see people using an accounting software, sometimes some other plugins for like inventory management or vendor management, invoicing.
Yeah.
So it can really be like, upwards of 10. From a cost perspective, again, usually a big range, but anywhere from like $200 a month to sometimes $1,000 a month we see people paying. And so
For everything
for
combined.
everything, it's crazy. So like our thinking with pricing has always just been like one flat price, keep it simple. We want everyone to use all of our tools and then, not get charged more if you're using it more. So we try to keep it simple.
Yeah. So you worked as a barista for free
Yeah.
when you start?
Yeah, so our very first customer was in Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
It's where we actually started the business. And I worked behind the counter for free for probably 6-7 months.
Yeah.
But, I will say they let us put our first product in there and test it, which granted, the very first product was not the best. It was a little bit, took some testing to get
they
right.
kind of worked with you a little
Exactly,
bit back
yeah.
and forth.
It was great though, it was fun. Yeah, that was a really fun experience. Yeah.
Were you a barista before that?
I had loosely kind of worked in shops. I wasn't by no means like a great barista. I'm trying to practice my latte art. We just got our first espresso machine in the office, so I'm trying to get better, but I'm I'm not competing.
You're not competing yet. Yeah. Was there a moment you realized the software problem in coffee shops was bigger than you thought?
Yeah, I think it was honestly when I was sitting down and doing those interviews and I kind of recorded them all and then I smashed them together in a cut and it became very obvious. I was like, wow, this is like a very consistent problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just all you said, put all the data together, and
Yeah.
this is the same thing on repeat.
Yeah, totally.
What have you noticed that the healthiest coffee shops have in common that struggling ones don't do?
Yeah, it's a good question. I feel like we've worked with so many shops over the years, and we always kind of now recommend for a lot of owners to like keep things somewhat simple. Like if people really try to overcomplicate their menu or like the experience, it kind of just adds stress to the team. Things become difficult. So like even like a loyalty program, like keep it simple. You don't need to have a million options or a million confusing ways to earn points. Just keep it nice and simple.
So simplicity.
Yeah, I would say simplicity, and also like I think we live in a moment where like the world is changing very fast. There's always new things coming out.
Oh yeah.
A willingness to try and learn new things, be able to like kind of shift on the fly, react to changing prices and changing dynamics. It's kind of required of like all business owners now because it's just so hard. Yeah.
I mean, I'll bring up AI. How do you see AI being integrated in coffee shops?
Yeah, we have AI in some of our tools. So like our marketing system's like a good first place. We use it for like building our email and SMS campaigns. We have it in some of our accounting tools for automatically categorizing transactions. In the long run, it's interesting. I feel like we're in a moment where AI is kind of having a little bit of an identity crisis where we also work in a very human forward business where I don't think coffee shops are really interested in replacing any
No, they're not going to
employees
replace a
with
barista
AI.
with it.
Exactly.
So where does it fit? It's not going to replace.
Exactly.
Even if it can make a latte, I still want a person making my
Exactly.
latte. So how does AI?
Yeah, so I think for us, like our AI tools are going to be really focused around like supporting the owner of a shop, helping figure out like analytics, talking to our reporting system in more of like a conversational way, but not really focused on replacing anyone or replacing like an interaction at the register.
So what's one thing all coffee shop owners need to know in 2026?
That's a great question. I don't know. I feel like matcha is taking off. If you're not selling matcha, I mean, I've actually even seen it at the show. There's so much matcha floating around. Get some matcha on the menu.
Matcha's just the thing.
Yeah, it's become like the new trend. So maybe that's a good spot for people to focus on.
Okay, last question. When you're going to a new coffee shop, what is your coffee shop's green flag?
That's another good question. I feel like for me, it's all about like the service. If you walk into a coffee shop, it's really friendly staff. You feel like you're welcomed. Doesn't matter to me what the quality of the coffee ends up being or anything else. If you feel good leaving the shop, like you're gonna want to come back.
For sure. Just the little things. Interaction between.
Totally.
Sweet. That's my last question.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys.
Thanks,
Jack. Totally.
I appreciate it.